Well, hello there, everybody. How are you doing on this fabulous day? Hope you're doing just fine. And I got to tell you that I'm doing all right myself. First, I would like to say thank you so very much for tuning in to me again. I really appreciate it. And I would like to welcome all of you to another episode of TJ's Topics. And in case you haven't heard already, TJ is yours truly. That's me. And I tell you what, I am so glad to be with you. Glad to have you with me. It is such a joy and honor and a privilege to be able to come into your presence on any given occasion. And I tell you, it's something that I definitely do not take for granted. Well, now that we are in the second half of 2024, in the month of July, no less, I think it's safe to say that we have made it in a sense. We still got a little ways to go, but I do trust and believe that we will get there. We are going to make it. And many of you are getting ready to head back to school pretty soon. You know, we've had our 4th of July weekend and we've done all that good stuff and had a good time. I'm sure y'all had barbecue and some of you probably fried fish and y'all had shish kebabs and all that kind of stuff. Corn on the cob, and some of y'all probably had a shrimp boil. I don't care for all that mess, that seafood junk. I never cared for that. But but it's about having a good time with family and friends and loved ones and stuff. And so summertime usually affords us the opportunity to do such on several occasions, So we're going to take our time and we're going to cruise right on through the remainder of this summer because we know it won't be long before children will be heading back to school and teachers got to go back before the kids because they got to get everything set up, and plus they have in-service and stuff to prepare for the upcoming school year. Me, myself, I will be getting ready to enter my 17th year in the school system. Starting 17 years. And I tell you, boy, whoo, it's been a ride. Lord have mercy, it's been a ride. But I've come through 16 years already. And I do believe that the 17th, I make it too. So y'all just pray for me. But in the meantime, I want to get down to business and I want to talk about something that a lot of times people don't care to think about because, it's like when we make it to a certain place in life, we don't want to look back. We just want to keep moving forward. And there's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes it's good for us to remember remember where we came from and don't forget about what we had to go through and who we encountered along the way in order to get to where we are today. And so I'm talking about today for a little topic, only for a few minutes. Never forget where you come from. And that's very important. Never forget where you come from. Because, a lot of times people do forget where they come from. And I don't know about you, but I have seen many people on many occasions forget where they come from. And they get beside themselves. They get the big head, they uh land a dream job, making boohoo's of money. More money than they have ever made in their life doing anything. And sometimes they tend to look down on those who have yet to get there to where they are. They feel like they have arrived and nobody can tell them anything. they feel like they've made it. And, you know, you got some folks who also forget where they come from when they get a new car. They forget about all the old traps they used to drive. Now, look, I can speak on that because I have driven a lot of traps over the years. I mean, old cars. My first car was a little 1985 Ford Escort that my mama gave me after she got her something else. I had just graduated from high school and was going to college, and so I needed transportation. So she gave me that car, and I drove that car for right about 10 years until the transmission went out on it. So I'd gotten many, many miles out of it, made a ton of memories with it. So it was time to let it go. And I had a couple other cars along the way. Had a little white Escort, a 1990 model. It wasn't no count from the get-go. Then had an old Mustang. It was also a 90 model and did pretty good for a while. But after 3 different engines in it, it was through. So, and it was leaking gas too, and it was a death trap, leaking oil, gas, and transmission fluid, and antifreeze. That was nothing but a death trap. And then I got to where I couldn't open the door on the driver's side. I had to slide across the seat to the passenger side and get out the car. But anyway, you got some folks out here who forget where they come from. They move out of a raggedy house or a rundown apartment, move into a better neighborhood, a better apartment or house, and then they look down on those who may be still in those, you know, um, bad neighborhoods and stuff like that, in the rough part of town. They tend to shun them in a sense. But that's why we should never forget where we come from, because just as sure as you made it up, guess what? It don't take but a little bit to come down. And they said the bigger you are, the harder you fall. I'm telling you. And passing by all those people going up, guess what? You're going to pass by those same people when you come down. If you find yourself coming back down, the same folks. I tell you, it's awful. It really is. But that's why we have to be so careful how we treat others, how we treat each other, how we do each other. Because, life is a gamble. Life is a sport. It plays out like sports, as I said once before, and it's a gamble as well. And so every morning when we get up out the bed, we roll the dice. We're playing Russian roulette every time we get behind the wheel, because in Russian roulette, there's a wheel involved. So those are things that I feel are very important to consider as we go from day to day. And so I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on forgetting or never forgetting where you come from, and how important it is that we remember where we came from so that we won't end up back there again? And we have to be good to others and, lend a helping hand when we can, but at the same time, don't let people take your kindness for weakness, because they'll do that too, especially when you got some money. If you got some money, you got a nice car, a nice house and stuff, people tend to want to ride on your coattail, and they feel like they can get free admission at the door as long as they're connected to you. But sometimes it doesn't work like that. Sometimes we all have to put forth an effort in order to make things happen for ourselves. You can't always depend on somebody to give you a free ride. And then you can't take everybody with you anyway when you get there, because it's not meant for everybody, because we're all on a different journey in this world. So with that being said, I want to say thank you very much for tuning in today. I really appreciate it. And be sure to tune in one more time on the next go around for whatever I have to say on TJ's topics. Another episode will be coming up, and there's no telling what it will be because like I said, we're trying to make it. We're trying to, and we're hoping that Orange Man won't get back in the White House. We don't need another 4 years of Donald Trump. And I know there are people who are not all that excited about Joe Biden either. But we just better be careful. Be sure to go to the polls and vote, okay? But in the meantime, this is Taryn Jerome Harris, reminding you that every round goes higher and higher. Be blessed, okay? Bye-bye.